for me to tweet about this, otherwise someone's going to know that I'm here. There we go. Let's also plug this in. Hello, how are we? Yeah, I've not done a YouNow in a very long time, so I thought I'd give it a go. Oliver is in the background playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fortnite. So if you hear him talking, he's not talking to me or you. He's talking to his gamer friends.
I can't hear you, so you can say anything about me if you want.
So yeah, I was just doing a little Q&A on Instagram, and
I'm upstairs.
as much as I love Instagram for Q&As, it's a kerfuffle to screenshot all of the questions and then like do all the doodles and the whiting out and then finding the right filter, and then it's a kerfuffle. So I thought I'd be better off doing it here.
Shield down there.
So yeah, I have no hair. It's very super short again. I'm not used to having it like this because it grew back pretty fast, and it was 2 years ago that I had it cut short like this. So so yeah. So yeah, the reason I had it cut short is because I was asked to for the role of Veronica Sawyer. Lots of people have been asking me, like, why did you decide to cut your hair for the role of Veronica Sawyer? And I'm like, stuff like that is entirely out of my control. Like, I was asked if I would be willing to cut my hair for the role. I said yes, because I don't really care what my hair looks like. And they wanted a short, curly-haired, blonde Veronica, so I went, sure, why not? But I am donating the hair. So there's all my hair in little plaits. There's 7 plaits in there, and they're all 10 inches long, and they are all being donated to the Little Princess Trust. No, they're not making me dye it. This is exactly what they want as of yet. They might change their minds. They might tell me tomorrow when I go into rehearsals that they want me to be a redhead, or that they're going to wig me. It's entirely up to the creative team. I literally have no control over it whatsoever. Thank you, Beth M. Yeah, no, Oliver is in the back. Oh, no, he's that way. Yeah. He's gaming in the background. Don't dab.
I showed, guys.
Dabbing was so 2017.
You know what's not 2017? My YouTube channel. So head over to there. It's very good.
Are you hearing this? Plug, plug, plug. To be fair, it is really good though.
It's quality, not quantity at the moment.
Is it? He's just Oliver Ormson on YouTube. Look him up.
You'll find me.
Thank you, Jen17.
My legs.
Thank you, Rebecca Beckery. Preference to short hair or long hair? I really like short hair. I forgot how much I loved it.
I like the short hair.
He likes the short hair. Look at this. He was quiet a second ago, and now that you've all mentioned him, he won't shut up.
Because I just got beat, so
Oh, aww.
I've got to like concentrate now.
He's got to concentrate now. I can kind of put a bobble in it, sort of. Well, as soon as I tie it up, these little short bits fall out the back. So I can't. I mean, that's not really a good look, is it? So no, the answer is no. I can't put a bobble in it. Veronica were to get a tattoo, what do you think it would be? I don't know. I don't want to give anything away, but I reckon she'd do something to commemorate JD, I reckon. Thank you, Louise Pocock. Yeah, I reckon it'd be something to do with JD, just to appreciate that he finally did the right thing. My curly hair routine hasn't changed at all. It is still literally the same. I use mousse, hair mousse when it's wet, and then a little bit of R&B, and then a diffuser. Literally, that has not changed in years. How old were you when you decided to... Can't speak. How old were you when you decided to pursue an acting as a career? It's never really... I never really wanted to do anything else. I mean, I started acting professionally when I was 5. When I was 5. And ever since then, it's never been an option to not do that. I've always loved it, and I've always been alright at it. What will you do for your hair when you play Beth in War of the Worlds? I have no idea. Again, it's never up to me. I don't know what happens with my hair until someone says, this is what we're doing with your hair. And I'm like, okay. It is interesting how many people think that costume and hair and makeup is up to the actor. I remember when the Cosette dress changed in Les Mis from the black with the white collar to the blue, like the really light blue version. And Zoe Duano, who was playing Cosette at the time and was there for that change, got so much hate online. Like, why have you changed the dress? And she was like, someone walked into my dressing room with a new dress and was like, you're wearing this on stage tonight. And she just had to go, okay, because it's not up to her. If your producers and your higher up say you're wearing this on stage tonight, you just have to go, fine, I'm wearing that on stage tonight. Great. Like, you obviously get some say in as much as if you feel uncomfortable wearing something. Like, if they put you in, like, a boob tube and you were like, I don't feel very comfortable wearing this, and therefore it would hinder my performance, there is a compromise. But, to be honest, they could turn around and be like, well, that's just what your character's going to wear, so you have to get used to it, and you just have to go, all right. But I was really excited to cut my hair, just to put that out there. I am so not precious about my hair whatsoever. Even for Wednesday Addams, I was like, I'd happily dye my hair for you if you want me to. It was their decision to wig me because it was a 6-month tour or a 7-month tour. It would have been more expensive to keep dyeing my roots back to black than it would have been just to get a wig. But Heather's is an 8-week run, so it was easier. It would have been cheaper to, like, cut my hair than it would have been to buy a wig. So I have updated my cruelty-free makeup bag because I was sent some incredible makeup the other day by this company called Besame. And they do these lipsticks. Where's the one that I'm wearing? They do these lipsticks, which come in these... Oh, God. Knocked myself over. Thank you, Rebecca Jane E. They do these lipsticks that are replicas. Like, the colours are replicas from different times. This one says, this shade is a true replica of a colour from 1969. And the shape of the lipsticks looks like that. Like, they're flat. Because... to get your Cupid's bow, it's amazing. They are so good, and they're cruelty-free. And it's all based on, like, vintage makeup that actresses used to use. I'm obsessed. Obsessed. Yeah, I can't stop touching my hair now because it's short and healthy and big, and I love it. I did ask the War of the Worlds team if they were okay with me cutting my hair now because obviously cutting my hair now then impacts my next job, which is War of the Worlds, and they said they were fine with it. How can we stage door at Heather's? I don't know. There isn't a stage door at the other palace, which means if people wait around after the show, the only place for them to wait is front of house, which then becomes a little bit of an issue because people are trying to leave. It means that there's no way for everyone to get out safely without then hitting a crowd. We're just gonna have to see how it goes. Obviously, if it gets crazy, something will need to be done. But again, that's nothing to do with me. That's all up to the venue and producers and people who aren't me. We are all doing American accents for the show because it is set in Sherwood, Ohio in the USA, and it's all about like America in the 80s, so it wouldn't make sense to do it in a British accent. What's it been like practicing Dead Girl Walking? It's fine now. The first time that we did it felt like a big deal because I'm straddling someone that I have only known for 2 weeks in front of a room full of people who I've also only known for 2 weeks. So the first time was weird, but now it's just part of the show and we just get on with it. If Lucas Beinecke went to school with Veronica, do you think they'd be friends? Yeah, I have a weird feeling that they would. Because I think they're both very dorky. I think Veronica's very dorky. I think she's not the coolest of people, which is why she needs the Heathers in the first place. And Lucas definitely isn't cool. So I feel like they're sort of kindred spirits, really. What's your favourite song to perform with JD? We only really have 2 songs together, which is 17 and Our Love Is God. And I love them both, but 17 just has the edge because, my God, does it break my heart. I just love it. So good. Thank you, Sally C. How do you feel that your first performance is on Saturday? Terrified, but I'm looking forward to having an audience in now because we've run the show from top to bottom like 4 times now. So I'm excited to finally have an audience sat watching us. Jodie Steele is one of my favourite people on the planet. Jodie Steele plays Heather Chandler, and I love her. I am obsessed with her. I think she's an amazing human being and brilliant in the show. And she's just great. She's brilliant. Thank you, KTP. Is it difficult to never leave the stage in this show? I don't really think about it, if I'm honest. I think I notice it as soon as I sit down and I'm like, this is the first time I've sat down in the whole show. The only time that I get to sit down is Kindergarten Boyfriend, which is the song that Martha sings. And there's a scene before that I'm not in. So I get about 8 minutes, maybe, in the entire show to sit down and calm down and just have a breather before the end of the show commences. I think the hardest thing for me is Veronica is such an iconic, or has become such an iconic role, and I am, as far as I'm aware, I think the second or the third person to play Veronica professionally. The first person to play Veronica in a full-blown production in the West End. And because, you know, when you join a cast like Les Mis, there's been like 30 other people before you who have played the same role. So no matter what you do, someone's probably done it before you. And, you know, there's no one's looking at you to either reinvent the role or do exactly the same. Whereas I feel like when you're one of like 2 or 3 people, everyone's looking to see exactly what you're going to do with it, to see, and I feel like either way you're going to be criticised. If you make it different, people are going to be annoyed that you didn't do the same as the last one because that's what they're used to. But if you do the same as what the person who did before you, then you're criticised for not making it your own. So I feel like I've got a very difficult job on my hands. Because no matter what I do, I feel like there's going to be people who don't like it, which means I've just got to not think about it, and I've just got to stay true to who I think my Veronica is, sing the things that we've been rehearsing. Some things are going to be different, some things are going to be entirely new that people have never heard before because there's new songs in the show, there's new lines in the show, there's things that have been cut from the show. There's things that we've been rewriting as we go along because obviously this is being slightly adapted for a different audience. Because there's some things where there were some lines where we were like, none of us know what that is because obviously we didn't grow up in America in the 80s. So things were like slightly tweaked to just encompass that. So yeah, I feel like I am slightly nervous, I will be honest, about playing Veronica, for that reason. But like I said, I kind of just, because I know there are going to be people who don't like it one way or another, I've just got to focus on the people who do like it, and I've got to focus on how I think Veronica should be played, and also focus on the fact that my director, Andy Fickman, the love of my life, Andy Fickman, and the writers, Kevin and Larry, and everyone who's come to see our run-throughs are happy with what I've been doing, and it's them that I need to listen to. I was serious about deleting Twitter whilst I'm in it. Obviously, I'm not deleting my account, just deleting it off my phone and changing my password. I think that is still going to be the case. I'm going to give Oliver my password and then let him change it so that I can't get into my account, and he'll give it back to me at the end of the run. Just because even just being announced in Heathers, even with it just being announced that I was going to be in Heathers before I'd even performed, people had an issue with me playing Veronica. And I don't really want to be subjected to that whilst I'm working, because I don't want it to then, you know, get in my head and for it to like throw me off doing the show. So I'm just going to delete Twitter whilst I'm in the show. I will vlog getting ready as Veronica. I'll vlog as much as I can possibly vlog. I'm doing Big Fun Fridays for anyone that's missed it over on my channel. So I did Shadow Me Sundays, Follow Me Fridays, Watch Me Wednesdays, and now Big Fun Fridays. There's 3 up, because 2 went up on Friday. So make sure you go and check those out because I'm excited about them. I've got a few people coming to see me on opening night. I think my parents are coming to see me on opening night. Oliver can't come because he's doing a show of his own. But he's coming on gala night, as is Scott Page.
It's 1-0, I think, don't they? See it.
The hardest song I find to sing in the show. I don't know. Maybe Fight for Me? I don't know why. There's a lot going on in that scene. Is there less drama in a professional show, or does bitchiness still occur? It depends on the cast and the people in the cast. It depends on the show. I've encountered a little bit of drama as I've gone along, but that's just, you're going to get that in any job, no matter what you do. But I'm very lucky that I've not really seen much of it. The choreographer for Heathers is the incredible Gary Lloyd, who I just love. He's brilliant and his choreography is superb. With social media and the rising popularity of people going to stage door, how do you think people's interactions with performers have changed? I find this whole topic very, very fascinating. And I feel like people used to see actors and artists as very untouchable, and that you couldn't really connect with them, and you just had to go off what they gave you, i.e. performances and songs and books. So I like the fact that we are now more connected to people, and that we sort of know the people behind the art, and it's nice to know where the things that we love, the pieces of fiction, the media that we love so much is coming, who it's coming from.
So close.
But there's also a downside to that, because people then also think that because they've shared one thing, it means that everyone should have access to everything else. And why wouldn't we? Yeah, it is a double-edged sword. And because it's so new, like social media is relatively very, very new. Thank you, LEH. Because it's all so new, it's really difficult to navigate, and you don't really know what's right and what's wrong, or what's acceptable and what isn't acceptable. And I personally find it fascinating. I find the whole relationship between artist and consumer really fascinating. And it's interesting when our normal perceptions of what's socially acceptable suddenly go out the window when social media is concerned. Things that we know to be right and wrong suddenly don't get applied in situations when it comes to social media. I find it interesting. I'm fascinated by it. Do you still remember lines from previous shows? I don't know. I don't think I would remember truly. I easily remember all of Les Mis, but I think that's because it's sung through. It's all song, and I don't think I could ever forget those songs. Truly, I'm not sure if I'd remember those lines. No, I don't think I would. I don't think it'd take me long to rehearse back in, but I definitely don't remember those lines. If you were a teacher at Hogwarts, which lessons would you like to teach? Which subject would you like to teach? I think I'd like to teach divination, because I feel like I look like a young Professor Trelawney. Yeah. With my short hair and my glasses, I feel like if they did a spin-off of Hogwarts teachers as youngsters, I think I'm absolutely a young Professor Trelawney. I'm really looking forward to my upcoming book tour. For those of you that don't know, I'm going on a very extensive 10-day book tour, spanning 15 venues across the UK. If you go to my YouTube channel and my Instagram, you will find the place to get tickets for that, and included in your ticket is a copy of the book that I will then sign for you. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Hello.
Look at the little gamer down there.
I wanna die. I wanna die.
He's playing Fortnite. I definitely need to visit Louise, Pentland, and Pearl and Darcy and Liam, but I just haven't had time, sadly. We do catch up, though. I was texting her yesterday. So we keep in touch, and we keep each other up to date on all of our shenanigans. But yeah, I've just not had time to go and visit her. I'm desperate to give Pearl a squeeze. And Louise, but mostly Pearl. I'm doing talks and Q&As in the evening signings. So the afternoons are just straight signings, because then I'm travelling on somewhere else after that to then do a Q&A and a signing in the evening. Did you die?
Yeah, sorry, I died.
He's raging in the background.
What's going on?
Nothing, just smiling at you. Best theatre couple. I mean, I'm going to have to say Veronica and JD, because I don't think I'd be very true to my own character if I didn't.
I am it.
Although I feel like I'm sort of cheating on Wednesday and Lucas, so don't tell him I said that.
Yeah, can do.
If you weren't in Gryffindor, which house would you be in? Probably Ravenclaw.
Alright, I was going to jump in.
I always wanted to be a Hufflepuff. I thought I was a Hufflepuff. Like him.
Oh god, I went short.
It's
I was going to dab, but then someone said it wasn't cool.
not cool.
What about, like a knee dab? Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Bye, guys.
Is there somewhere we can make stage door more pleasant for the castle of the palace? There isn't a stage door. Like, it's not even a case of making it pleasant or unpleasant. They're just, a stage door does not exist. There isn't a stage door. So I don't really know what's going to happen or how it's going to work. We'll see. We'll see. Because, I mean, Heathers is such an iconic show that it doesn't matter who was in the cast. Loads of people are going to turn up to stage door because it's Heathers. So we'll see what happens. Oh, I love that you're dressing in Heather's colours, Pagan. That's so cool. Hang on. Who's going to be blue? Rude. Are your stage door issues unique due to your YouTube presence? I feel like theatre has just become, I don't know what the word is. because theatre's always been big, but I feel like through social media, theatre has been introduced to a younger audience, and that younger audience is very much a fan culture type audience. There's sort of, and it's also just there's more access nowadays. It's only a generational thing, in as much as it's a progress thing. No generation before now has ever been able to access the profiles of all of their favourite actors online and find out everything they possibly can about them. So it's definitely not me saying, oh yeah, it's a millennial thing, because I am a millennial. It's not me sort of like blaming younger generations. It's only because younger generations are able to access things that past generations weren't able to. And if past generations were able to, I'm sure they would behave in exactly the same manner. But I feel like I was one of the first people to have that crossover between theatre and YouTube. So it was completely uncharted territory when it came to Stage Door, because like I said before, no one really knew what was acceptable, what wasn't acceptable, because it was uncharted territory. And it's only now that we kind of notice what's acceptable and what's sort of frowned upon. Like, if someone comes to Stage Door but hasn't seen the show and has no plans to see the show, people kind of aren't that keen on that, because then it's essentially just turning up to someone's workplace, which in normal life, we know that's unacceptable. Like, we know that that's not cool. Because if someone just turned, like, if I worked in Tesco and someone just turned up to say hello to me but then didn't buy anything from Tesco, we know that that's, like, not cool. So it's kind of the same thing with theatre. Like, if you turn up at Stage Door and say, hi, I'm demanding that you spend time with me, I'm demanding that you, like, give me an interaction, but I'm not actually going to give you any of my time back. It's kind of a weird situation, because stage, like, it's so difficult, because there's so many, like, nuances and so many different situations when it's very different. It's very difficult to, like, give a statement that encompasses everything. But when it comes to theatre and YouTube, they kind of have to stay somewhat separate, in as much as Stage Door of a theatre is solely about the theatre. Stage Door is sort of a traditional, sort of sacred thing that is meant for, I mean, it's first and foremost just an entrance and exit for actors, but its sort of known use is a place to wait after, like, you've gone to see a show, and it's the place that you then go and wait in the hopes of meeting the actors that you just watched in the show. So I feel like when that becomes a YouTube meet and greet, sorry, just bad. When that then becomes a YouTube meet and greet, as opposed to seeing the show and then waiting at Stage Door, when you just go because you know someone from YouTube is in the show without actually inhabiting yourself in the world of theatre beforehand, that's when the lines kind of get a little bit blurred and you're like, that ain't cool. Yeah. Again, it's all stuff that I find very interesting, because it's still sort of relatively uncharted territory that we're still discovering. Do actors know which people at Stage Door haven't seen the show? No, we have no way of telling, but people are often quite forthright with telling us. I've had people be at Stage Door before, like, I'm coming into work and people will be at Stage Door, and they'll stand for a chat and they'll ask for a picture and they'll ask me to sign something, and then they'll be like, right, okay, now we're off to see Miss Saigon. I'll be like, oh, Okay. Any Heather's keepsakes? Our very generous creative team have been giving us presents as we go along a rehearsal process. Can't speak. Rehearsal process. They've given us an umbrella, a water bottle, a gorgeous pencil case with pencils that have the names of some songs on them, and then a notebook. I love it. Love it. Oliver's very busy with his game at the moment. I don't think he'll be joining the live stream anytime soon.
I'm playing with my niece and my brother.
He's playing with his niece and his brother, is what he just said. Is that Paris?
Yeah.
Hi, Paris.
Me?
One thing you would take from the Heather's costume department if you were allowed. The shoes I have in the show are very cool. But I have yet to try on my entire costume altogether. I've only tried on bits and pieces at a time. So, don't know. But the shoes are cool. I do still wear Wednesday's engagement ring. I love it. Any tips on how to be a good Veronica? I mean, I'm still learning myself, so I don't feel like I'm qualified to answer that question until I've played Veronica for a decent amount of time, because I'm still very much figuring it out myself. Keep asking questions, guys. Who do you think is more complex, JD or Veronica? Oof. I think they're just as complex as each other. I feel like JD probably has the edge because he's lived a much harder life than Veronica has, and he's been through more to turn him into who he is.
I don't think we have the best loot then, to be fair, for anyone.
Here he comes.
What's going down? Oh, it's something.
Yeah, it's different.
As if everyone misses me. Help! She's mental. Hello, everyone.
Food.
How's it going?
You still playing?
Yeah, because do you guys play Fortnite?
Someone was asking for
It's
your...
really hard to play, and I'm yet to win a game, and it's so frustrating.
I might sit and watch you in a minute, because I've never actually seen it.
Oh, it's stressful.
Maybe I wouldn't like it then.
Yeah.
If it stressed me out, then maybe I wouldn't like it. Favourite scene from Heathers? I love 17.
I think that's time.
And I love Our Love Is God. Oh my god, I love it. And I love Shine a Light as well. Shine a Light is so much fun. Shine, shine, shine a light. Let in sunlight now. Shine, shine, shine. Ooh, I love you because you shine. You shine a light. Shine, shine, shine a light. Shine, shine, shine a light. Yeah, I think I dance more in Heathers than I have done anything else. I think. Maybe only a smidge more than Addams Family. Thank you, Sally C. How do you feel about people not knowing anything about the show but just wanting to support its cast and company for the love of musical theatre? That's amazing. I mean, I think that's wonderful. I love going to see shows and not knowing anything about them, because then it's such a pleasant surprise when you see the show. But I think the issue is when you book to see a specific actor, turn up and they're like off sick or they're on holiday and you didn't realise, and then like slag off the understudy, because the understudies are there because they're just as good as the principals. Like, the reason they are there is because they are also ridiculously capable of playing the same role. So
That's been my chest as well.
oh dear, sorry. I have an understudy, not an alternate. An understudy. She is called Olivia Moore. She is extremely talented and she's so lovely. The whole cast of Heathers are so bloody nice. We're going to have so much fun in these next 9 weeks. 9 weeks. Yes, I'm going to be at Summer in the City this year. For the first time in forever, I'm going to be at Summer in the City, and I'm actually performing on the Saturday. I haven't really figured out what I'm going to be performing, but I'm going to be performing, so...
Chest over is one of the leave.
Someone said, please do the Veronica laugh. That was Barrett's Veronica laugh. That isn't something that's part of... See, this is what I mean. Like, I feel like these are the things that I'm going to run up against. Because, you know, the last Veronica, who was Barrett Walbert-Weed, the unbelievably, phenomenally talented Barrett Walbert-Weed, she played Veronica in a certain way, and I feel like people are going to be expecting me to do the same things. But, where it says in the score ad-lib, I'm going to be ad-libbing. I'm going to be doing different riffs and different notes than what she did, because that's part of making the character your own. But again, it's that horrible thing of, if I don't do exactly the same thing, people are going to be annoyed that I haven't done what they're used to. And if I do exactly the same thing, people are going to criticize me for not making the role my own. So either way, I'm sort of damned if I do, damned if I don't. So I've just got to not care and do what I think is right, and do what I've been told to do, and do what I've chosen to do. But there is no Veronica laugh. That was something that Barrett incorporated into the role, and it was hugely funny, but that's her thing, and that's not what I'll be doing. How do you do your hair in pin curls? It's really hard when I have short hair, but this is how I do it. You take a section of hair, and then you wrap it around your fingers, plonk it there, and then you put 2 pins across it, like that. Someone just asked me, who else would I like to play in Heathers? If, I could play anyone and there were no limits, there was no limit of, age, gender, whatever, I'd love to play JD. JD's such a good character. Funny story, though. I found someone online who started a rumour and who said, I heard that Carrie Hope Fletcher was actually offered the role of Heather Chandler, but would never want to play a villain because she's too good for that. And I was like, that's not true. I don't know where that's come from. It's hilarious, but entirely false. I was only ever up for the role of Veronica Sawyer. I never auditioned for Heather Chandler. I was never offered the role of Heather Chandler. I was only ever up for Veronica. So funny. People are interesting. It's interesting what people will fabricate in order to assist their own narratives. My favourite line from Heathers. I don't know. I've got quite a few. I like, by the way, you were my first. That's a good one. What else do I love? Some of the lyrics I'm obsessed with. I love they were just 17, they still had room to grow. They could have turned out good, but now we'll never know. Love it.
That's unfortunate, because if that storm didn't come in there, we would have been alright, I think. We would have been alright. we go.
I'm so excited for the new Mary Poppins movie. There is no one else I would rather play Mary Poppins than Emily Blunt. So excited. And yes, I have seen that all of the Disney princesses are going to be in Wreck-It Ralph 2. So excited. Am I a dog or a cat person? I'm a cat person. I love dogs, but cats. I love cats. I'm going to be here for 10 more minutes. 9 and a bit more minutes. Bong! We'll just have my... Oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. I just had my schedule through for this week. Yeah, I bought a cottage. I bought a house, a cottage, and yeah, I think once I've moved in and I'm settled and I've got it decorated and everything, I think I will get a cat. I think I really want a Sphinx cat though. I love those little hairless gremlins. I want one. When will we see you in the Veronica costume? When I get to see the Veronica costume. I've not seen the entire thing yet. I've not tried it all on because they've been fitting it and figuring it out. Oh, you have a Sphinx cat? Sophie? Is she loving? Like, is she cuddly? Does she, like, fuss? Yay. Oh, I love that. That's good to hear. Sophie replied and said, Maisie the Sphinx is super cuddly and she loves kisses. That's just what I want to hear. Thank you, Maya96380. Thank you very much. Can we get this to 10,000 likes by the time I leave in 7 minutes? 6.5 minutes? Thoughts? What's my favourite colour? Green, I think. Like an emerald green.
Yeah, sure.
Favourite piece of jewellery? Probably this ring here. City I'd love to visit. I'd love to visit Rome or Barcelona. I'd love to go back to Copenhagen as well. I didn't do my A-levels. I left school before I did my A-levels. Secret woods rings. Ooh, they sound interesting. 5 more minutes. Get your questions in. And feel free to keep asking me questions on Instagram.
Drop over there.
Because I'll keep answering as I go. But I'll probably just do typed ones.
Drop.
I did film my haircut. In fact, I'm probably going to edit that after this.
What's happened? Does it have a minute? I don't think it will.
Any other tattoos you'd like to get in the future? Yeah, I really want to get tattoos across my shoulders and collarbones, but I think that's a bit too big. And I think I'll wait a good few years before I go crazy with the tattoos. I think my agent would have a hissy fit if I did that. My agent only just discovered all of my feet tattoos the other day, but he was actually pretty cool about it, to be fair. I don't know. I don't know how he didn't know. I think I mentioned it to him, but I don't think I ever properly said to him. But then the sound check before one of my concerts, I was on stage in a dressing gown, sound checking, and obviously I had bare feet, and he was like, I haven't seen those tattoos before, and I was like, no, you haven't. Here are my tattoos. I have 6 of them. Sorry. I haven't seen the set. I mean, I've seen what the set for Heathers is going to look like, but I think it's currently being built in the other palace. So I haven't seen it in all its glory just yet, but I'm really excited too. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Veronica is definitely a Ravenclaw. I think all the Heathers match their colours with their houses. Heather Chandler, she's fierce, she's brave, she's courageous, she's the leader. She's definitely a Gryffindor, and she wears red. Heather Duke, she's cunning, ambitious, will do anything to get to the top, including like taking her dead best friend's own place. And she wears green. She's a Slytherin. Heather McNamara, she wears yellow. She's very loyal to the people that she's surrounded herself with, but very sort of easily led astray by friends because she's so loyal. She's almost loyal to a fault. And she wears yellow, and so I think she's a Hufflepuff. Hufflepuff. And then Veronica, she's very brainy, very witty, very wise. Overthinks everything. So yeah, and she wears blue, and I think she's a Ravenclaw. So I think they all fit with their colours very well. Okay, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for joining me. I shall see you very soon. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.